Hello, my name's Rodney Hill, Product Manager here at Atlas Copco. In this video, we're going to cover converting P12 certificates, also known as Public Key Cryptography Standard Number 12. We're going to convert these certificates into .pim or .dar formats that we can use in our PowerFocus 8 or our IxB tools, along with an EAP TLS network.
All right, so let's jump into the software here. I'm using an application called X Certificate and Key Management. It can be found on the internet. You could also use OpenSSL for this. I actually find in a Linux environment, it's actually a lot easier to use that. A little bit harder for me to show though, because it is a command line utility. So we're actually going to import PKCS number 12 file. If you come from a Windows environment, this is generally the most common type of certificate that I see. So I will click on this .p12 file, and it's going to immediately ask me for the password to open that file. You will need to get that from your IT person that gave you the file. I believe every P12 file requires that. When I click OK, now it's going to show me the contents of the file. I'm going to go ahead and import all of these. And there's two things we're going to take a look at right here. I have my certificate, which in my case shows my email as well. And I also have a private key that goes along with that certificate. So I will need to export these now into a format that the PowerFocus 8 and the Tensor IxB tools can accept. So you can see on the menu, we have a lot of options here. There's really only two types that we support: the PIM, which is a .crt file, or the dir.cir file. So I'm going to use the .crt file. This is the path it's going to export it at. I click OK, and now I've created one of their certificates. My next step here is to create my private key. I will do the same thing here and click export. Again, I'm given a lot of different options. I prefer to use the PIM encrypted format. So I'm going to go down here and choose, it's going to give me a .pim file that's encrypted. And I'll know it's encrypted because when I click OK, the next thing it's going to do is ask me for my password. This can be any password. It doesn't have to be the same password you imported from your .p12. Just so happens I am going to use that password because for me it's fairly easy to remember. But you could encrypt this with any password you want. You also don't have to have a password, but I would recommend it because if somebody else gets a hold of this file, they really won't be able to use it unless they have the password that goes along with it. So now I have both of those files on a folder I can see on my desktop. We're going to switch over here to the controller. This is a PowerFocus 8, but again, everything you see here would also work on Tensor IxB tools. In the settings menu, we'll scroll down here. I already have my wired network connected. Do always make sure that you have your channels selected in a way that will work. If you don't know, it's probably best to select all the channels, and you can come back later and whittle that down to the channels that you actually use on your production floor. We're gonna go to the wireless client menu. I'm disconnected at the moment, or I have it disabled at the moment. I will turn it on. Going to use DHCP, could use a static address if I preferred. It's telling me I'm disconnected. Shows me my network name here, and that is correct. Down here, my security type, set to WPA2 Enterprise. My encryption type is CCMP, also known as AES. This is by far the most common encryption type, at least since the last decade or so. In my EAP method here, we have a few different options, but we're going to use TLS. We also have a video on how to configure PEEP, and most of the other ones we support here are either not widely used or legacy options. So if you need more information on PEEP, feel free to see our videos on that as well. And we'll continue on here. My identity field needs to have something in this field, and that's because we have to provide that to the radius server. If it's left blank, your radius server, I found at least my radius server using free radius, will not accept that. So I need to have some value in this field. I'm just going to put the character A. No username or password. I'm not going to use a certificate authority. You can if you prefer. Seems to be that opinions kind of divided on whether that's a good idea on wireless devices or not. Down here on my client certificate, I'm going to import the first file that we created here, which was our .crt file. So I will open that, and it encrypts it here on the tool or on the controller, and I can see the string here of encrypted data. And then I need to do the same thing with the private key, which is this file up here that has the _key-pim. When I put that in here, remember, I put a password on this, so I need to put whatever password I created needs to be entered here. and I'll click apply. And if I've done everything correctly, I should see this connect to my EAP TLS environment here in just a few seconds. First connection sometimes takes a little while. A lot of times after that, the credentials are cached and it goes a little bit faster. So I'm connected now. I have an IP address, subnet and gateway, and I can see the MAC address of the tool.
In this video, we covered converting P12 or PFCS number 12 format certificates into .dar or .pem format that we can use in our PowerFocus 8 and our IxB battery tools. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any more questions, please contact your Atlas Copco representative. Thanks for watching.